Good morning. So I wanted to start off with 3 things that you need when you start your real estate business. I think these 3 things are also good for any side hustle. So whether you're starting some kind of Uber Eats, or you want to start driving for Uber, or you want to start your first rental property, I think regardless of what, maybe you're working on Fiverr, whatever you're doing, if you're starting some additional form of income, I think these 3 things will go a long way in helping you succeed, manage your life, make everything easier, more profitable, and also help you save on taxes. Got to start out the day with some coffee, like any self-respecting side hustler. The first thing that you absolutely need is a separate bank account. So maybe this isn't something that you're going to start your own LLC. Maybe this is just a hobby or a passion that you've turned into an additional form of income. Or maybe it's something that, like a rental homes, where you just bought your first one and you're going to scale up in the future. Either way, whether it's just something that you're going to do as a one-off or something that you're going to scale in the future, having a separate bank account is huge. Maybe this isn't something that's worth investing in bookkeeping software or a bookkeeper for you, but by having a separate bank account, you're able to compartmentalize the income and expenses from this side hustle, which is going to make it a lot easier on taxes at the end of the year. Let me give you an example. Let's say you like quilting and you're going to sell some quilts on the side, and it's going to be something that maybe you want to grow in the future, maybe not. Well, if you started a separate checking account, even if it's in your own name, and you funded that checking account with $500, and then you bought all your quilting supplies from that checking account, but then every time you did your quilting, let's say you were selling these quilts, you take that sold income and put it in that checking account. If all you used that checking account for was your quilting, at the end of the year, you would know that any expenses out of there were necessary for the purpose of doing business, and any income came from that business. And so it almost serves as a profit and loss statement for that business or that side hustle, making it much more simple to do your taxes at the end of the year. So even if you're not starting your own LLC, I definitely suggest that you just go to the bank you already use, open a separate checking account, and utilize that one for your side hustle. Next, the second thing, I think it's absolutely essential that you have a separate email address for whatever this, activity is, whether you want to call it a hobby, a passion, side hustle, or a small business. Having a separate email address is very helpful. The first time I got my business email address, I did it as kind of a bid for legitimacy. I thought I needed to look more legitimate, which is now not the concern, but what is super helpful is to have everything compartmentalized. So there's a lot of things going on in our lives, especially when you have a regular job and then side hustle, family, everything else. So if you can compartmentalize the information from your business into separate email address, it kind of silos that information, gives you a one-stop shop. One thing I was talking about this week was repairs. So a lot of times if a tenant leaves a voicemail for a repair or text for a repair, a best practice of mine is to follow up with an email, or follow up with that tenant with their name, address, property address, type of repair, and then also how I plan to resolve it. So that way, a week down the road, if, as sometimes happens, I forget about the repair, or the repair didn't get done correctly, I have a record of where that started, and then as updates come through, replying to that email. So I kind of have a thread of what's been going on. And having that email thread and replying to those emails will give you a nice trend to see who's been helping your tenants the most and who maybe you don't want to use so much in the future. Third, and the last thing I would say, is having a separate phone number. Not saying you gotta carry 2 phones around or anything like that, but something as simple as a Google Voice number, or going out and getting an additional line put on your phone. So that way you have a separate silo that you can put out on the internet, and have available. Similar to a separate email address, this works great because on my real estate phone number, I know that all the texts in there are with my houses. So if it's not something that's as searchable, I can go to my real estate phone number, go to the text, and I can scroll through it, and I can get to what I'm looking for a lot quicker than if I was trying to sort that out with all the personal texts and work texts on my other phone number. So I don't suggest doing something where there's 2 phones. Maybe that might be a little cumbersome, because you still need to be able to answer your phone. You need to be able to respond to your text. I know we're all busy and we work, but so maybe it goes to voicemail, or maybe the text doesn't get responded to immediately, but having it, you need it to come, I think you need to come to your phone that you carry, because you need to be able to get back with people that same day, especially for more urgent maintenance requests and things like that. But I do think a separate phone number is very important. So you can do that. Most phone carriers can add another line to your phone that you already have. Google Voice, you can get a Google Voice number and have that ring through to the phone that you already have. So there's a zillion different ways to skin that cat, but having a separate phone number that you can put out on the internet and you can turn on and off, like when you sleep and things like that, so you're not getting sales calls from across the globe in the middle of the night, is something that's super helpful. So those are 3 things I think are really helpful, whether you're starting a real estate business or some other small venture. Anything that is not your main income but generates income in some capacity, those 3 things will go a long way. So please, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel. If you have any other questions, leave me a comment down below. I like seeing those questions because it gives me ideas of other things that people want to know about that we can push out. So check out the description down below. Got some cool stuff down there, and see you next time.